Well, another visit by Vladimir Putin would, I think, be a mixed event. On the one hand, there's a lot that is worth following up from on this Helsinki summit in terms of limiting the nuclear arms competition, addressing problems like Syria, where there's the risk that our forces could get into a direct conflict with each other. But at the same time, what I'm still missing from the president is a real recognition that Russia is actively trying to undermine our democracy, that it's still engaged in an open aggression against one of its neighbors, Ukraine. He didn't even mention Ukraine in his press conference in Helsinki. So it's still not entirely clear whether the president really is the hardliner that he's portraying himself today.
Ambassador, do the last three presidents, whether we're talking about your president, President Bush, Obama, or Trump, do they all underestimate President Putin at the start of their terms in office?
Well, I think that's definitely the case. I think we didn't quite appreciate, certainly when he was relatively new, that he was very much a throwback to kind of Soviet times. He's KGB in his DNA. He is very hostile to the West. He is authoritarian in terms of how he envisages how Russia needs to be ruled. And I think especially since he came back to the presidency in 2012, he's been actively trying to weaken the West because he is ultimately afraid of Western ideas infecting his own people and putting Russia back on the path of democracy, which he's definitely trying to avoid.
So, Eamon, if we wrapped it all up, what happens next? Is the fallout still continuing on Capitol Hill? I mean, the details are so sketchy from that meeting because there were no aides there, there were no note takers there, and so the president finds himself having to re-explain all of this.
Right. I mean, the real question is what, if anything else, did the president agree to with Vladimir Putin? And we don't know the answer to that. There was an American translator in the room for that meeting, but not clear whether we'll ever get her version of events or a full account from the president of his version of events. But Vladimir Putin has suggested that there were some agreements that were made behind closed doors. Perhaps this idea of a Putin visit to Washington was one of the things discussed. We don't really know.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.